Okay, so it's time to get into this first round of everything here. So I got the eagle all done, sending all the parts, so we can get after it. So for the interest of the video, so that way other people can play along at home, for corporate interest slash proprietary or whatever, I'm just going to keep this sort of anonymous. So let's just say you want to make a random eagle sign. Hypothetically, I just want to make an eagle. So let's make an eagle. This is how I do it. So there's a lot of moving parts, as you can see, but a lot of it is just kind of what we do. It's just on a larger scale. So let's not, don't let that intimidate you as far as like all the stuff that's coming at you on this one. It's going to be pretty straightforward. We're visiting some of the stuff from like Indio letters and stuff. So it's going to be all good. So let's get into the lay of the land. We do have a port and a starboard. That's based off of the beak. The beak is the bow. The tail is the stern. So anything on the left-hand side is the port. That's where you pass the Dutchie, and then the starboard side. So look for STB and look for port. This one has a gang of reference numbers all over it. You can remember my other video I did about augmenting that so I can get these numbers placed around. So look for all these little jiggy things. This is a la Indio letters. You got the backer spacers because you're going to have that void. And look for these splice pieces here. We'll go over that. You got all your inner frame parts. And you got your hard candy shell. Look for all that. Port and starboard. Those are all together. And then you have your overall large skins, your finished skins. Look for all these guys. You got these little doors. Keep those in mind there. And then we have the actual faces. These are going to be the reverse channel faces for the eagle. So look out, I got some keyhole slot coming. I did this piece as a tester, so this will look familiar. So you kind of you're already sort of familiar with this. So this one is actually port, and this one's actually starboard. So obviously everything's just mirrored. So, but parts with an S on my chest. Look for that. 1/4 inch internal framing. Look for all these parts here. We're looking for some of these are all the way through. Some of them aren't. So pretty much the greens here are going to be all the way through. So make sure those are cut properly. And we're getting used to seeing these. So you got some 3/8 little slide collars there. And we all know what these are. These are little stubbies, little 1-inch tabs. And those are for both of those there. And then we've got our tough fact polycarbs like we do for our reverse channel. So we'll go over those. All right, let's get into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically work from the inside out. So you're going to build this frame, get it all ready. And then, as like once you're done with that, then you can start it on both faces. So let's start with the main frame though. So we haven't built it this way yet, but I think it's gonna be pretty cool. It's gonna speed things up. So you're gonna look for all these parts that have letters on them. The letters are horizontals, and the verticals have numbers. So you're gonna work your way over here from the wing, and you're gonna work your way with the A and the B over here, and then you're gonna work your way down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and work your way through. What I'd like to see here, it should all work out, is that you're going to just rivet these two basically inner faces, the inner jiggies. These are big giant jiggies basically. You're just going to rivet those to these guys here. Now you're going to want to make sure these flanges are all facing the right way. So reference this PDF that I'm going to send you and double check and make sure that everything is facing the proper way. Otherwise, this might poke out. You're going to have, it's going to be sad. And then a lot of these have tabs that are going to stick out. And that's actually where you're going to through bolt the slider little doohickey there. So that way the frame it grabs on the frame and has that strength. So you can see where everything's put together. Like number 5 here has that flange poking out. You're going to make sure that gets clecoed in. And then that's where, it's going to support the whole face structure. So it's kind of important to get those going. So get all this bent up. But before you rivet this together, you're going to build the inner frame. That's like where we're going to start. That's like the in part. That's the 1/4 inch. So that's going to be the body frame here. And again, this isn't super hard, super difficult. So you've got two long ones that are going out. You got a long and a short. Those are going to be your lift points. So it's going to look like this all together. And then what you're going to do is create sleeves for the 2x4 steel that's going to slide up in there. So you can see this is the side profile. So you got a C and a D, you got an A and a B, and then you have two little nuggets on the sides here that is going to basically create a tube. And then that tube is going to slot into the bottom of this piece here. Now you'll see this part goes to the tail, this part goes to the beak. And that's like right here. So you can see what's in blue, right? So there's the sleeve there. So there's your A and there's your B. And then this will be your in-between pieces. And then you'll have your C and your D here. And you can see where the tube will slide up in there. And then it's going to bottom out across the top. So the top will have that this rib across here. And then this part here will be a brace to help stiffen that. So if you're looking down at the top, you're going to weld that. And then these two guys here will have their slots right here. These will dog bone in to this guy here. And then that gives you your lift points. And so that's how install is going to grab, put clevises in here. They'll put clevises in here, and then they can lift this bad boy up and they can get their caw-caw on. So you're going to start with that. I would, tack this all together, weld it up good as best you can. And then all of these external dog bones, you can see here, these external dog bones on this whole thing, is going to, you can see where all these dog bones here, these are going to slot into the Jiggy. So that's your side jig. So you can see where all the dog bones here are going to correspond to that frame. So you get that frame built, get it kind of all put together. And then I'm thinking what you can do is, again, I haven't done this before. But rivet one side. So get all of these, I would encourage you to Cleco it all first, get it all set. And then go ahead and rivet all one side and get all of these braces attached to one side of the Jiggy. And then go ahead and lay your framing. Once you get this all put together, go ahead and lay it in there and make sure that it's all sexy. And then go ahead and lay the other jig side on, the other jig frame side, and go ahead and lay that on there. And then you're going to have all of these dog bones exposed. So you can actually tack these dog bones, but anywhere you can get the gun in, go ahead and weld the frame to the 090, right? So like here, so you'll have access hole here, and you'll have these two braces right up against this quarter. So if you can get the gun in there and kind of attach this brace to this quarter, that will help. It doesn't need to be, crazy welded, but, make sure that you can get in there. You'll have access little doors here, so you can kind of get the gun in there and tack, the 090 to the quarter here. You'll have access to these cross bars here. You can get the gun in there and kind of tack to there. So essentially, though, you're just going to make it nice and strong. You'll see here, you'll have an access door right here, so you can get the gun in and attach C and D to this vert. And then that way, when they go to lift, all your strain and all your stress is being transferred across this whole 090 face. Backing up a little bit, we have the braces to bring these together. So this is just going to be on the surface. I gave you plenty of 3/8 holes here to plug weld and kind of tack. So just Cleco this together. Do this on the surface. Do this on the top outside, So all of these letters and numbers are going to be facing out. That's what we want, so you can see them. So go ahead and put this to the outside. And then same thing with this. This is actually a face seam. This is a redundant seam that doesn't do anything here other than you're going to build up this 090. So that way, when you go to put these faces on, you see that these were big enough that I had to blow these apart into 3 pieces just to fit on the router. So you're going to have to stabilize this seam. And so this seam, we're going to utilize the seam on the other one, and it's going to stabilize. It's going to do double duty. I said duty. So you're going to take this one, you're going to tack it to this, but you're going to grind it smooth, because then the top of this is going to be the stabilization seam for this one. But this one has its own stabilization problem. And so this one is just a stabilizer for that. This doesn't do anything for this other than just gets attached to that. So you're going to put that on there, tack it up nice, but we don't want to warp it too much. And then this one here, tack it up there real nice, but make sure it's clean. And the same thing here, make sure this is nice and clean and booger free, because then you're going to lords this bad boy on there and it's going to sit on that. So again, so probably want to get this. Okay, so let's review. So do the blue frame first, get your quarter all tacked together, get it welded, and then put these together, seam these together, and then go ahead and tack or rivet one side together. Go ahead and put the 1/4 inch frame on the one side, and then bring the other face in, get it all dog boned aligned, maybe give it some tacks, and then finish riveting. You're just going to rivet all of this together. So then the idea is once you're done, you can see like that'll be, your bracing there. So you'll have this whole thing sitting there with all these braces inside, and you'll have the 1/4 inch all in there. Then you're ready to go to the next step, at which point this is Indio letters. Because we're going to have a gap, we're going to have I already kind of talked to you about this, like talked to Adrian, but because this main face, right, is, let's see, I have an assembled version of that. That's right here. So you can see the black face here. Wow, that's a bad term. The face of color here is going to get lords all the way around this perimeter on this 2-inch framing. Essentially, just like the Indio letters, this is going to be an 090 void all the way through here. So basically, you could push on the main back or the main face and go clunk, clunk, clunk. And so in order to have places just like the Indio letters, you'll see that these circles will want to get tacked on there. And those are going to be kind of spacers. So that way we can bolt this together and it doesn't squish, just like the Indio letters. So get your 1/4 inch frame in, get all these frame pieces riveted, and then go ahead and tack on all these little circles. Again, reference this, but make sure your arrows are up so you can see where that's going to go here. We're going to have a circle. Yes, jumping around. Just bear with me here. So we're going to have a circle here at the feet. We're going to have the circles at the tail, and we're going to have a circle here at the eyeball. And then we'll have a circle in the middle, and we'll have another circle here. And then this one will have like a joined circle, and these ones will be kind of weird shaped joined circles, because we're going to be not only having slides, but then we're going to be using 5/16 hardware to actually nail this down. So this will be the 1/2 inch bolt hole for the slide for the 3/8 puck, but then up here will be a riv nut that actually holds this thing on. So I kind of joined these two, so that way you don't have a bunch of discs. So you can see where this one here is kind of a weird shape, because the slide puck will be here, and then the 5/16 bolt hole will be here. So again, just make sure these pucks go in the right spot. I went ahead and joined these up together as like a little oval here. So get these tacked on, get them cleaned up just like Indio, and then we're good to go there. And I think once those are all done, then you can start in with the hard candy shell. So you can see where everything's numbered. It starts with 1, and you start working your way around 3, 4, 5, and you're just going to Cleco this thing all the way. You got the 1 there, you got 2 there, you got 3, 4. This is actually probably going to be almost kind of fun. So you'll have all of this riveted together. It'll all be braced. All of this will be tacked and welded in. So this thing should be really rigid, and then it shouldn't be a problem. Just work your way around. Look for the 1s. That's the number piece. There's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, there's 7. Just work your way around, and all the pieces should go together. And then you're just going to go ahead, and I gave you, because you're not going to have, I realize there's not really going to have any access to the inside. So this is going to be completely welded on the face. So you'll be able to weld on the flange here, tackle on the flange, but I gave you plenty of 3/8 plug weld holes. So you can just go ahead and tack these up nice, just like we do. Go all work your way around. I got in between seams here, so you can kind of connect these, so nice and strong. So you can see I made little notches for you here, so you can plug weld those up nice. And then you're just going to grind all that smooth. Again, you can see where this is going to be the bridge. Go ahead and grind that smooth, and grind this seam piece there. Make sure that's, this piece right here. Make sure that piece is ground up nice. Then let's see. So we got that done. You got all these tacked in. You've got these all in, these little discs. So I think you are ready for putting on the main face, the pretty face. So just like Indio, I would suggest a couple of you pop Lord's guns. You're going to burn a little bit of Lord's because, like we said, you're going to have the perimeter at 090, and all of this is gap that kind of needs to be filled. We brought in that DTM stuff. If you think you want to roll with that, if you want to do a test, we're pushing up against the expiration date. But again, you can see if you want to use it or not. But otherwise, we got to kind of fill all these voids in between where all these little circles are here. You can see where the circles are there. So basically everywhere there's not a circle, we got to kind of build up Lords, and then that way it'll kind of float and be connected well. So that'll be kind of a procedure. But then once we have that all set up, for reference here, starboard little reference, or the reference kiss does go inside. On the Jiggies here, you see all these. I want these poking out so you can see the numbers. But on these ones, you're going to go ahead and put the reference to the inside. That way it's clean and it's nice and slick. So go ahead and get the outer skins then. So like I say, you'll have all that done. Get this all cleaned up. One giant Lord's party. Make sure you put those sploogies on these right here, so that way they the welds or Lords up nice on these. Make sure you do just like you did with the Indio letters. And so then once that's done and you got the faces on, that pretty much does it for this. So again, there's a lot going on, but it really isn't like, crazy. So yeah, here's a good example. So essentially the 2-inch framing is it. And then these are the only other spots here that the eagle's going to actually touch. So all of this needs to be filled. So whatever you think works, you can put a little bit of Lords right there too, but these are going to be outside access doors. So these actually sit on the outside on top. So there was no reason to recess that. You're not going to see them. Okay, so that's outer skins. That's the main part of the eagle. You'll have your sleeves that go in there. I already have holes for that. And then you got all your doors. So you can see where 33 will go with 33. Everything that's basically facing up, I put doors for access. So that's kind of how that goes. But anyway, so there's that. So we got the frame, you got all that kicking off. So let's talk about faces. So faces really aren't that big a deal. These are going to be more of like the agua caliente, big, the big palm trees you did, where you're going to bring these together as a seam. I already talked to you about these seams. So you're just going to clamp these, bring them together, and you're just going to rivet them, just a cold seam. You're just going to rivet right across. And then before you do anything, go ahead and put these seam pieces in, similar to like you did on the other ones there with the eagle shell. Similar to this, you're just gonna tack it together, and that's gonna stabilize, because you're gonna have all of this unstabilized face. So all that needs to be stabilized. So you're gonna have a straight piece along here, and then you're gonna have another piece right here. So go ahead and tack that in, and that's going to bring it all together. So then once you have the face kind of these two pieces joined, and you have these splice pieces, like you say, you can see how much that's a lot to leave unstabilized. So once this is all stabilized, once this is riveted together, then you're going to do like you do with the agua caliente. You're going to stomp 22 strips at 1 inch depth, right? So 22 strips, 050, 1 inch. That's for the outside of the eagle kiss. And then you're going to do 16 strips for both. That's for both eagles at 1 3/4 inch. And that's going to be for the inside. Then what you're going to do is, just like I got here, you're going to push to the outside. You're going to push the return to the outside of the scribe. And then you're only going to weld on the inside. Don't weld on the outside because you can see it. We want to keep it clean. So go ahead and just weld to the inside of the channel and do your 1 inch first, because that way then you can access your 1 3/4 inch. So the 1 3/4 inch goes to the inside and the inch goes to the outside. So you're just going to follow the reference kisses here. So you go on the 1 3/4 inch will be around this perimeter, and I tried to square it off real nice for you so it's easy to lay out. And then you do have to follow for the 1 inch. You're going to have to follow that a bit to make it look nice, but you know, it's going to be cool. So, so you're going to do that with both faces. You can just kind of do both here. So yeah, get your seam stabilized. Go ahead and go all the way around, first with your 1 inch, and then go around with your 1 3/4. Weld to the inside. Don't weld to the outside so it looks clean. And then we're good to go there. Then you can go ahead and assemble all of your frame pieces for getting those mounted to the inside of that. So once you have your perimeter welded up and nice, then you can see how these things are going to fit. So you're going to go ahead and rivet. Remember, we already kind of made this one, so you kind of know what we're dealing with. So you're going to slide one into the other, and it's just going to be a big rivet party. So you're going to make these structures like this. You know, you got the green on the outside, blue on the inside. So put this one in there, rivet it together, put this in there, rivet it, put that, rivet it, all those. Then go ahead and do where it says, so basically wherever it mounts, you can see this little circle, you're going to have a 5/16 steel riv nut. You go ahead and do that, squish goes to the inside, and that's kind of be how this actually attaches. So you can see where that's where the riv nut is there. That's where the riv nut is there. You've got one here. And basically, you know, it's only where you can reach. Inside here, install's not going to be able to reach this one, but we'll do open head surgery here. I got open brain surgery. You can reach in. They can do a riv nut here. So this little doohickey, he's got a little mini guy here. You're going to do a riv nut on that. And then you're going to do a riv nut at the feet. So again, the little door comes off. You can access that. And then this is actually where power and stuff is going to be. His tail here is going to be actually, or her or they, you know, however this eagle self-identifies. So this is going to be the 5/16 riv nut here. But also this is going to be the collection point for electrical. So we'll get to that here in a sec. So go ahead and get all of these riveted together, ready to go. Then just follow here, and you've got Cleco holes here that match up where they should go on this bad boy. So then you can go ahead, and I think all we need to do is just tack it all the way around. Since we're already welding this face, it's going to have to be bondoed and everything anyway. So I think you Cleco it and just tack it, and then like A and B will kind of fit in between. Like A and B here, they kind of fit in between. You've got the kind of this tall, you know, guy here. So anyway, so all of these guys will have to, you know, work to clearance all this stuff and make sure everything's looking sexy. So once you get all these tacked on there, I think that's it for the face. You just have, you know, get all these built, get these tacked on there. And then once you have your return and everything, then we turn into reverse channel letter mode. Then you're going to go ahead and you can see where the polycarbs fit within the channel. You can see there's your red scribe there. Well, I got everything grouped, but anyway, you can see where it fits. So then you're going to take your polycarb channel like we do. You have your port side, you have your starboard side. You can see where I have it broken up into chunks so it'll fit on the router. So you essentially have 4 sections. You have this section, you've got this section, this top section, and then this comes around this way. And you can see where I have power collection there. So do your, you know, collecting and stuff. Very, very important though. You are going to do tabs on both sides all the way around, but the inside is going to be pressure only because obviously once this thing's up there, you can't take this polycarb out if you put screws to the inside. So no screws to the inside, only screws to the outside. That way, just in case they need to get in there at some point, I mean, it would suck, but hopefully they don't need to. But you can see where they have this much room between here and here to actually pull the polycarb out if they have to. So, you know, so if you have screws only on the outside, they can maybe kind of pull it out, kind of service it if they have to, and then they can sort of kind of jam the polycarb back in there as best they can. So without having to lift the eagle off. So, and that's it for that. So once you get your polycarb all mounted up, with your screws and everything, then you can, you know, later on, we'll go ahead and figure out what color to do, but we'll run our LEDs. And again, we'll collect a leash here. So for leash and power, let's go, we can go, come on, don't crash. So you can see where I have power through here. This is on the frame. So you can see where I have power. I went ahead and notched right here. So wherever I don't know where the LED cable is going to be coming in exactly, but it'll be coming into this cavity here, and then we'll run probably page blue or something, and it'll sneak right in between this little crevice here, and then that will get from there. It'll go through here, and it'll go through this little crevice, and then sneak it through 13, and then we'll collect here, because you can see where I have an opening. That's a door. So you get in there, you can come in. Also, that's where they can do a 5/16. You know, they'll be ratcheting right there, and that'll be done. Then they can make their connection to the leash, and then they can sneak it. And then using this, they can sneak it through. And then again, I don't know exactly how we're getting from here down. That's still a work in progress, but at least we have junction points here. So, but essentially your collection is here, through here, into here. So anyway, but the rest of it is going to be, once it's sealed up, there really shouldn't be any reason to have to get up in there. So hopefully it all works out. Otherwise, let's see. I think that should do it, actually. So again, I'll be on site if there's any questions or anything, but hopefully this, it's a lot of principles and stuff we already done. Oh, so like these guys here, we're just doing 1/2 by 13. But again, you guys have done this, but you can see the sandwich where you're going to have the final skin, and you're going to have the little discs, the little Indio letter discs. And then that's your big jig 090. So you can see the sandwich, but you can see how much void you're going to have there trying to fill that up. So, but anyway, that's going to be where all these guys slide. You can see where they're just going to slide on in. You're going to bonk. So it hopefully should be pretty easy. One thing to think of seeing how big this thing is going to be and how heavy and awkward it's going to be. Once it's built, we will investigate with install whether or not we do like we did with the Agua Caliente big circle logos, where we take a piece of angle and we drill it, put a aluminum nut on it, and make a lift point on the fly. And maybe we drill a hole through the return where the LEDs are going to go. Maybe we make a lift point on this thing, but it's kind of awkward. But it's, we'll have to see how big it is in real life, how heavy it is in real life, and ask, maybe install just wants to put it on the bucket here, or maybe they strap it. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But be ready to possibly make some on the fly angle clips, and then we'll burn, drill a hole through so they can put an eyelet, and then maybe we have to do it over here or something. So to give them lift points. But again, we'll investigate that once this thing is all in real life and see what's up. But otherwise, I think that's it. Again, let's see, boom, riv nuts, reverse channel, polycarbs, these guys. I think that's it. So, so just a random anonymous eagle. If you just want to make one, that's how you do it. So, all right. If you have any questions, hit me up.
Check the technique. Check the technique. See if you can follow.